Hello, this will be my first episode. I'm Menaka, lives in Australia, and I really like to show you my garden and how I do my succulents too. So I thought of doing videos about it, and before I do about the succulents, I would like to show you my garden. When we bought this land, it was only the house, no garden at all. So I created all this by myself, and I would love to show you around the garden, and then I will do my tutorials about it. I have a little bit of experience about gardening. Professionally, I am a chef and I was a teacher before, and now I am doing my succulents because I have come to my retirement age and not much housework or kids work to do. So it's really easy for me to spend more time in the garden, and I thought it will be beneficial for others to learn what I do too. So let's go around the garden and see the garden first, and you will see my dogs too. Right, let's start from one corner. This is the corner of the front yard, and this is where I do my succulents most of the time, so I can look after my dogs as well as I can see who is coming to the house. And then to the other corner of the garden, as you can see, it's a bit bigger, and I have planted so many plants with flowers as well as trees. So I started growing succulents from this plant. This is my first plant. I love succulents, but I haven't had time to do that because I was working full time. Now, not many succulents around this area because I have sold many of my succulents in pots, and now I'm going to do it again. So this is my front yard. Some areas are messy because my puppy is taking everything out from the tables or from the garden, and as you can see, the hanging pots there are all succulents that I created long time ago. And this bowl of succulents, which I really love, is my second succulent arrangement, and that is the only one now I have left with, and I have sold the rest. And these are some of my succulents in hanging baskets, and you will see hundreds of them in my backyard. I will take you to the backyard after all, and that rack that you see is one of the propagation centers that I put my plants in. So that's a little bit of shady area. The plants that needed shade are outside there. I don't use chemicals in my garden. Only for the succulents I use the slow release fertilizer. The rest of the garden gets almost compost that we get from our garden. So this is my succulent mix, to tell you honestly, and it grows really nice in my mix too. I have only two types of mixes. This is the first one, and for that I use two parts of compost. I use this tub to measure 2 parts. You can use any kind of measurements according to the succulents that you have. Then half a cup of perlite. The reason why I kept the perlite here because it's really windy and the perlites are very light, and so it can be messy if I leave it outside. So I use 1 part of sand, nicely washed, and I buy all this stuff from Bunnings, and then the volcanic rocks that I have bought from Bunnings too, and cocoa peat. This is a really nice mixture that you have to put water and leave it aside for a few hours to soak, and after that it becomes like this, as well as holds the root tight too. So to do that, first I mix everything together. So with the rocks, and then I put it in, perlite in. As you can see, it's really dusty. It's better to wear a mask if you are allergic to dust. So after, mix it really well. Now into the mix I add about 2 tablespoons of slow release fertilizer. Someone can say this is too much. No, it is not. It takes long time to release the fertilizer. So like this. So that is the first soil mix, unless you want to stress the plants. I really don't like stressing plants, so I always grow them in nice big tubs, and only I use these little ones to propagate little leaf cuttings or leaf propagations. So put some soil in, shake, and the soil is ready. Now let's put it into tubs. These little gorgeous tubs are from Daiso and they are really nice and cute. Now I'm thinking to plant this little baby I bought yesterday, and these are $5, but I think for this it's fair because this is a variegated succulent. And now make a hole in the center. I will show you my little tools that I use for succulents later. So press. So you need to spend a lot when you want to buy succulents. That's why I sold all my pots and I bought all these little plants. So I have a big creation, about 260 varieties. So leave it like that. It's going to rain. I will leave it outside, and now it has enough space to grow. So this is one of the mugs that I broke recently. So I asked my son to help me to have a hole in the bottom, and now I put a leaf propagation on it, so it will grow nicely in this mug. So you don't need to throw away all the stuff that you have at home. You can use that to create a nice piece of art. And not only that, it helps a lot to stop landfilling too. If you can see in the other corner, I have a orange color electric pot with the base and the pan. So I'm going to use both to create 2 nice succulent arrangements later on, and I will show you that too. This is the pot that I'm going to use. This was a hot pot that it stopped working, so I'm going to use this as a succulent pot now. As you can see, under the hot plate there are some holes, so I don't need to worry about doing anything. I'm going to use it as it is. Let's do an arrangement to start with. For that, I have this soil that I mix now. So spread it evenly. After, back is a bit higher and the front is a bit low. In that way, the arrangement will be visible from every corner. Now, to start with, always try to use the fast growing succulents or tall succulents at the back, so that way it covers nicely and visible too. So make a hole first, and I have few succulents that I took out. I will tell you the names later. This is one of my oldest cacti collection that I have, and I'm going to plant that here. So I left a little bit from the back so that the babies can start coming from the other side without blocking the pot. I am not going to fill my arrangement with loads of plants, so that way it won't grow properly. Now the next one will be this variegated vacancy, and going to put that next to it. This one is a slow growing succulent that I'm going to leave it at the front. And this is one of my violet queen that I recently divided the mother plant. So I'm going to put that here. Now I have this, it's not jelly bean, it's blue beans. So I'm going to put that next to this so it can grow properly and it will go up too. I have seen succulent arrangements. The day one when you do it, you can fill it very nicely, but it has no space to grow and it becomes like very stressed. We don't need to do that. And I have these two little green frogs that I need to put somewhere, maybe here like this. This plant is called Pink Panther or Pink Lady, and I'm going to put some here. And I really don't know the name. This hasn't had any name when I bought this one. I went to a store to buy some pots and they had these beautiful succulents without any names. I thought I'll buy some. When it becomes bigger, I might get the leaf identifier to find the name of the succulents. So always take the rotten leaves out before planting, so that way it helps the plant to breathe properly. And when I take it out, I normally shake and take few leaves out, so that way I can propagate those little buddies. When you take the leaf out from a plant, you need to hold the leaf tightly and then take it out. These ones are really easy. There are some plants it's hard to take the leaf out, and I think this is crowded too. So if I take a few leaves out from here, it will grow properly. See, there are rotten leaves too. This baby will get lots of nutrients now and will grow nicely. So I think it's nice next to the frogs. It can grow nicely. So this is another one that I didn't get a name, so I'm going to get few of them out. If you can see properly, the leaves are having babies too because it was under the mom. So I'm going to leave that to put in a different pot and get, this is a nice one. So I'm going to put this here so that can grow properly. And as you can see how expensive this is. This was $19.99. So this is a really nice, beautiful one that you can use in your succulent arrangements, as it is not growing fast and it is growing low too. So just put it next to here so that it can grow well. That's done. I have this sedum Cape Blanco. It's like a beautiful rose, and I bought it recently and it was here about a week or two and it has already rotten, which I haven't had time to look after it well. So if I put this in this soil, and it will grow. Now I have this one. Even this one came without a name, so that was $5. Actually I bought this because it's really like a nice Christmas tree and I thought of doing something with it. So this is a really good one to put behind all these succulents, so it will look like a tree. Now we need something here and something here. That's all I'm going to do. This is another succulent without a name. So I'm going to take half of it and use here. here we need another plant. I think we need a bit of color there, so I'm going to plant this next to it. So press, and so we have multiple colors, purple and 2 different variegated succulents, and it will grow all over now. I think this is enough for this pot, as once it grows properly, I maybe in another 1 or 2 months I will show you exactly how it is looking. Until then, let's leave it like this without making it crowded. So we need to be nice to the plants sometimes without giving too much stress. Then they are nice to you too. That's my belief. Once you're finished doing the arrangement, you can use decorative stones like this to put on the soil so that it covers nicely and give a nice look. I was trying to get the white ones, but I couldn't get it. After adding decorative sand, you can give a good shower to them, so it will look nice. After doing a succulent arrangement, until it pours out the water, I water them, and this is how it is. You don't need to do it as this is. This is my way of doing it. I don't normally make it crowded, and if you see it in another 2-3 months, you will be amazed to see how it has grown, and I will show you in my other videos. And that's all for today, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Thank you for watching.